Okay guys, let me see if I can get my behind up in here. We gotta, I think our next step is gonna be to quit rolling around the cab here. We got this section of firewall that we left, or that we took out of the 96, and again we got a good bit of space right here for our pedals, so we're going to try and see if we can move the 96 pedals over, because this truck sits more skinny because of these step downs that are built into the door. So your sitting position is more inbound. We're going to try and push that over a little bit, because as you can see with the brake pedal right here, the right behind it where the gas pedal would need to go is where my flashlight is, and there's no place for it. So in order to figure out what we need to cut, we're gonna have to fit that firewall piece, the driver's side footwell, into this. So I took a picture of all of the knobs, and this is a PTO knob right here, which is, we cut all of these are all loose right now, but we had PTO, we had a throttle and a choke. I think, yeah, this one is this cable that goes to the air by the door, and then we get over here and we got lights, wipers, and this may be wipers. This is this cable here that goes to this vent. I think I'm gonna keep the side vent cables. They may need a little attention, they may not be working, but anyway, we need to get this brake pedal assembly out. Looks like a bolt here and one of the steering column bolts that'll come out, maybe something else up top, I don't know. And we're gonna get the rest of this wiring, all this old wiring out, and we're going to pull our instrument cluster, give us a little more access in here for our new wiring and all of that. But first things first, before we can start putting wiring in here, we need to cut and weld this floor up. So before I pull the body mount bushings, we're going to get all of this dash cleared out and these pedals out of here, so that we can see what we got, and we can put in our 96 patch panel and start marking it out, see what else we got to cut out of this. So that's where we're at now, and we're going to get in it. All right guys, we got our template right here that we showed you. I'm all over the place here. So this has our IDM hole here. These two are for wiring, master cylinder, clutch, steering, which we're not going to use, and we got some more trimming here. So we got some cut lines. You can see the Sharpie marks, and we're basically trying to go around structure and cut out some of these holes, and we're going to show you, just kind of mock it up. So this is what we're doing. We're basically trying to get our IDM box on the left to be good, and we got two angles here. This white piece is pretty much a straight vertical piece, except for where Tristan's hand is. So we're gonna have to play with the bottom a little bit, but that's basically gonna relocate all our holes. So we're gonna take the cutoff wheel or the nibbler, we don't know yet, and we're gonna cut that out. So we'll put you all on time lapse for that. Alright guys, so what we did, Tristan started looking at it. You can hold your pieces up and mark them if you want to see where you were. So what we did, Tristan made a point that we kind of needed a little more room on the left kick panel. So he yeah, so you're almost even with that. So So he decided we could squeeze these two together and hopefully we don't shoot ourselves in the foot. That's this big plug that comes from the backside, goes here where the F-clamp is, and then the PC's fitting is for the IDM. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and tack them. We cut it off, cut an inch out to buy us an extra little bit of room. We don't really have any room there, but we're trying to shift everything as far left as we can without messing ourselves up too bad. So we took an inch out of there, and I think that would go just like that, even though you're high, you know. That little bit of, because you got all this wire in play right here, you know. You got all of this flex. So up and down a quarter inch or an inch or whatever is not gonna make no difference. But we're trying to skinny it up. This is the firewall, the left kick panel side. That's the middle hump side. We're gonna dress it up and put some tacks on it and redraw the lines before we cut in the truck. Alright guys, we had a whole bunch of head scratching and butt scratching, and maybe some other stuff was scratched too, which we can't tell you about on TV. But so this is the white piece here is the old 96 doghouse minus the upper part that went up the firewall. This is the front leading edge with the accelerator pedal of the tonneau cover that was in the 57. We got pieces of both up here. So we've been just whittling and fitting and whittling and fitting and whittling. So what we got so far is we got this piece tacked in place. So we have our PCM wiring harness and pedal assemblies. We're going to have to do away with the steering circle and move it further down. We took the back half of the tunnel for the 57 and the top half of the tunnel off the 96. The 96 tunnel took up almost this whole floor, so we had to whittle it down. So we got to make some little hanger straps for the upper portion, and we're going to hang it to that horizontal cut there, and then we'll be able to build off of it and tie this in with multiple little pieces and whatnots. But that's about as good as we got. And I'll see if I can get right here and show you. So we're going to be something kind of like this, and we have to tie these two in together. So plus or minus a little bit, that's where we're at. And let me go show you from under the hood. It's just like I said, it's a lot of talking and deciding and You know, again, we got our PCM hole, we got our 2 wiring holes, pedal holes, and we're going to fill in that circle, but we don't know exactly. We'll do that when we start filling in some other holes. Also, because of the way the 7.3 fits and it's eating up our pedal space, we're probably going to have to bend pedals over, and instead of having our park brake here, we're going to try and figure a way to implement the big stick lever park brake that goes next to the stick shifter. See if we can implement that into it and make that the emergency brake, and tie that into the emergency brake cables along the frame. So anyhow, that's pretty much a whole day of just chopping and fabricating. Down here we're probably going to shorten this and cut that out, and then make a panel from, say, right here to right there. And you know, we're going to get some sheet metal and off of some other pieces and parts around here and see if we can make it happen. But again, it's just put it up there, eyeball it, cut it, eyeball it, cut it. And the only plan we had was it's easier to take some off than put it back on, even though we can go either way. So we just decided, hey, might as well do little bitty cuts. And so we just, you know, some cuts we were able to make some real good headway, and some were whittling and put it up, whittling and mock it up, whittle it, mock it up. And so that's where we're at now, and that's all of our leftovers we just showed you. Alright, I'm coming back to give you guys a little update. All we've been doing is just cutting, grinding, heating, and beating. And we got our panels in here, kind of somewhat welded in. We got to figure out an alignment here for the drive shaft for the steering box. And we have a portion, we've been whittling on this piece, which is the upper kind of vertical piece that's going to cover, it's going to come down to about right here. And we're making a tie-in, we're making a little lip off of that firewall right there. Let me get you in frame. We're going to take a strip like this and come off out where we can tie it into this lip with the grinding marks on it. And then that'll excuse me, hold us in place so we can start roughing in some of our connections to the old original doghouse. but it's just been a whole bunch of grinding and, you know, eyeballing, making little pieces and fitting them in or throwing them away and starting over. So not really trying to do a how-to, because we're doing this first time, so I don't know how much how-to y'all gonna get. I mean, we just robbing sheet metal out of the door here and cutting little pieces as we need them and bringing them in. We got old hoods and doors around here just for that purpose, to have some extra sheet metal to build stuff. So anyhow, that's what we're doing. We'll do some more time lapse or some comebacks. I don't know exactly how it's going to come out. It's kind of boring. I don't want to make a long ass video of a whole bunch of grinder work and cutoff wheel work. So we'll try and just keep bringing y'all back to the important stuff. But anyhow, that's where we at for now. We're kidding. Tristan's working on that, and I got a 450 over there I'm chasing electrical issue on, and that's we've covered that particular stuff in a few videos, so nothing new there. All right, we'll bring y'all back in a little bit. Alright guys, we're getting ready to try nut zerks for the first time. So as y'all remember from the doghouse we had here, we've got the old one and then we have the new edition we've been working on in the time-lapse footage. So these were sheet metal screws. They had 6 of them around the transmission, which were already there. So we got the correct size bit for the nut zerks, and we're just going to go ahead and drill them out and see if we can get the right torque setting for our nut zerks. And yeah, go ahead and twist it all the way to drill. I had the clutch set the other day. So we're going to drill these out and get them ready for nut zerks. Or I don't know why my word for them is nut zerks. They're rib nuts. But anyway, we're going to get the holes drilled and we'll come back to you in a sec. Alright, so we're going to clean that up and get set up for the nut zerk Lord, nut zerk, rev zerk, rev whatever, that damn piece that's going in the hole, we're gonna get set up for it. Okay. All right, guys, so this is a new nut zerk tool that we just got. And we got the rev nut. I'm gonna get it right sooner or later. Y'all just bear with me. This damn thing right here that I can't say what it is, we're gonna try and set it in. So we got the drill set on low. We already did another one close to that size. And what we're doing is we're just trying to figure out what setting we're going to do by seeing how good it crimps. So once you get it crimped and you think you got your good squeeze, just back it out. Hold your red handle and just back it out of like you're unscrewing the bolt. No, yeah, you ain't got to take all that out. Unscrew it with the drill. Just put the drill in reverse. All right, now we're gonna go below and see if we got a good squeeze. And I'm gonna show you what the good squeeze should look like because the camera ain't gonna work from down there. All right, guys, so this is how the rev nut comes out, flush on the top and flared on the bottom. And we're going to check out the one in the 57 and see how it's coming out. And we're going to put the rest of them in. All right, we're going to come right back to you. Let y'all see what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get use a 90-degree bit to get up in here and see if we can you want a nut zerk to test fit or you gotta go one more?
I gotta go one more.
Alright. Okay, I'm gonna get you a zerk here. Let me see. I don't know if I can do this one-handed. Y'all hang on. Yeah, we drilled some holes and we're gonna...
Oh yeah. It's a better fit than 25/64.
Well,
3/8.
Would you want to keep going with that, or you want to try and make a little bit?
I'm gonna try to get the two outside ones. What's preventing me is this wiper linkage.
Well, we can hit that nut right there and maybe move that, but once you get close, make sure you're getting straight on it as much as you can, so we don't have to hold it. Well, we're about halfway done with this, and we don't have room for the drill. So they also had sent a little ratchet, 1/4-inch drive ratchet, and that's good for tight areas. I was looking at the one that was longer that didn't have the T-handle, but I think this is going to be good. It looks like all you got to remember is just oil those threads down with just a little touch of you got to get plenty of WD on Tristan because we don't want him to rust. And then he's going to thread the nut zerk, the rev nut on. I'm going to gonna get it right. I'm gonna get a shock collar for the dog and put it on, and you can zap me every time I say nutzer. I don't know where in the hell I came up with that term, but anyway, riv nut. Stab it in the hole and just hold the bottom and crank the top, and it's gonna give you a good crunch. And so the only trick I'm seeing with this riv nut thing with the drill is have your drill on slow in low gear and play with your clutch a little bit, and maybe, you know, if you have a spot where you can see how good of a crunch you're getting or a smash you're getting on the riv nut, then just, you know, start low and work your way up to not over tighten, because on the smaller ones they will on the smaller ones they do have a possibility to break.
Works nice.
And so we're just doing this so that way we want to have this hump, the tunnel, whatever you want to call it, doghouse, available as a quick, easy remove when we're going to do work on this old gal. If we got to rebuild the floor, we just soon rebuild it to the way we want it. So, you know, underneath these blue jeans and everything is the turbo and the up pipes and the bell housing bolts. So depending on what we need to do, we'll either be able to get it from up under the hood or just pull the whole doghouse out with about, you know, a dozen bolts. And I'll show y'all what we got. We got some quarter 20 little pan head Allen head bolts that we're gonna run in here. So we're putting quarter 20 riv nuts.
We got it already.
I'm keeping them. Man, look, I won't be breaking nothing. We're gonna lube it up. Can't never have too much lube. So anyway, we're gonna pop this last one in right here, and then we're gonna come down here and do the rest of them with the drill here in just a minute.
Know when to stop cranking.
Well, at least with that bunch you can see the bottom, you know.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna show y'all these last two. And just giving them a little shot of oil, because the threads on these are what actually pull up. So, you know, you want to have them be able to slide good and not break the mandrel. But put a little oil, screw them on, watch your tip doesn't come, your handle don't come see. And we got the clutch set on 14 or 15. And back it off. And there she is. I'm gonna show y'all one more. And it'll be new battery time and time to get our other bolts out. Alright, we'll be right back. So these are the little Allen panhead bolts that we got, quarter 20. And we're just putting them in to try to line up the sheet metal and get them in the holes. Hump is, we got to kind of torque the hump around a little bit. Might have to drill the holes a smidge bigger to fit them in, but we're gonna get them in. what the hell he's heating and beating over there, but he's wearing the hell out of something. And he's down here. Watch out, Mr. Boat. Come see. Hey, say hey to everybody. Boat. Alright, Boat ain't into it. So he's boxing in this little bend down here and fixing his bracket. And I'm in here trying to figure out how to get these brake pedals. If you look right down the center, you can see the brake pedal is right where the steering column has to be, and this is a stub shaft coming through. So we're going to have to do a bend like this on the clutch pedal on that. So I already got the clutch done, and we got it in between this wiring and clearing the PCM. So that'll work. Put that down out the way. Hopefully that's going to clear, and then we'll see what goes on with heating and beating this thing. So let's get into it. So we got our pedals kind of straight. We got a little work to do here, and this will be bent, but this is probably going to get elongated anyway. We'll have to see, but it's clear the steering column anyway for right now. This is going to have to be chopped and assembled, but we're not there yet. All right, guys, we got some tacking going on here. And we got this big gap right here, so we're going to do a little Texas TIG, and we're going to put this 60-10 in there, and we're going to tack him in and let that fill the gap. I'm just showing y'all how that works, and I'm going to set y'all up where y'all can watch from over here. A little too far away, but we'll get you close as we can. Par for the course. The battery's going to crap out, but there's our hole filled in. And when we trim this with the cutoff wheel, we'll just cut the excess rod, and then this is just going to be a bunch of jumping around and filling in off the tacks. And you just hit a tack and build off of that, hitting your thick metal when you start off so you don't burn through, and do maybe 3 tacks and then move on somewhere else, and that way you don't build up a lot of heat.
Alrighty folks, we're now to the point where we can start worrying about this engine that's in here, which means we're gonna need a coolant system. So I'm starting to just eyeball where that'll sit. We're gonna use possibly the OBS radiator and also have the OBS cross member here. Radiator support, I guess you can call it. I just got it fitted up in here for right now. But it's looking to be where that's kind of where it's gonna sit. The hole in the grill is not as wide as the radiator, but it's pretty close, so we're gonna roll with that. And I'll fix y'all up when I actually have some progress here. So some would call this unconventional. I call it repeatable. We're just gonna go ahead and try to line everything up, level it, and make sure we ain't got no clearance issues. Alright, so we'll go ahead and update y'all when something interesting happens here.
Hey, hold that up for a second.
Yeah.
So peeps, Tristan is bolting on his custom shaped fabricated extension pieces or flaps or wings or whatever the hell you want to call them on the both sides.
Doohickeys.
Some doohickeys. These will be for sale in our custom parts store.
Yeah.
$7,800 each for a set. They're going in here and they're tying into the old radiator supports on both sides, which we're going to weld in later and hold it. But he even not only drilled it all to bolt in, but he even put in the little clip nuts that came out of the factory one. And he's getting approval by our inspector here.
You don't look too upset with it.
Looks like he might be bribing the inspector a little bit. Might not be getting fair results, I don't know. That's our quality control agent.
Both you want a bone?
No. Say hi. What you got? There you go. Alright, we'll get this in there in a little bit and show y'all how this all fits together in a minute.
Well, alrighty folks, made it to the point where I got everything dry fitted and we're about to put it together for the last time and weld them. Just figured I'd give y'all a peek while everything's still apart. I've got my bottom support down in there, and all this is a piece of flat bar welded from here to here, and we're sitting on top of that on both sides. We'll go ahead and weld this solid in here, right here, and maybe in the corners. And this will be protection for the radiator. At that point, I'll be able to stage up the radiator where it sits in our two mounts, and then wherever that falls, we'll tack them in, and then we'll have our radiator mounts, and then we'll be one step closer. Sounds a lot easier than it. A lot of fiddling, but it is coming along one piece at a time.
It's time to get this cab off, guys. We got all of our bracket fitting on the radiator. We can't fit our inner fenders in from the top. They have to come in through the bottom. So we got our shifter pulled, we got our steering knuckle tucked back in through the floor, and that's really all we had interfering us. So we're gonna go ahead and go up with it, and that way we can get this chassis roll back out the way and get up in there and have plenty of working room. All right, so you ready to go back?
Yes, we got it.
All right, going up. So let's get our plastic chock or a chock, and I'm gonna move the Toyota and we'll roll this thing back and get our engine bay clear where we can get in there and work. All right, guys, we're gonna try and get our passenger side inner fender in. So we're gonna set you up right here, see if you can get a little line of sight at it, and we're just gonna mock it up. So we're gonna jump over the time lapse, and once we start getting closer to technical stuff, we'll come back. Guys, we're looking in between here on the radiator brackets. For some reason, Ford made this radiator off center. This is Henry Ford, by the way. He's hiding in the so we got a little bump and rub on this side, and then I think we're gonna have to accommodate our spring purchase. So we mocked these fenders up and we're just looking for clearance. Okay, you got the soapstone? Alright, bring it over here and let's look at this. Alright guys, so this is the bottom. Forget this hole right here. This is the hole that the 96 steering column came through. This down here is going to be the arch that this truck's going to have. So we got two bulkhead fittings in the PCM fitting. And you can see that that's competing for space right there. So come over here and eyeball this and see. We're gonna have to bring this down to clear that, and we might be able to cut a piece out and just invert it and put it back in, you know what I mean? But we need to have enough but see, like right here where the PCM is going, we're gonna have to cut a section here. We need to make a line that'll clear the PCM plug, and we need to make an inside line, and then we may be able to turn that whole piece around. Like, get on the ladder right there and do it from the top. That way all the marks is on the same. Or are you gonna mark the whole thing from the bottom? I got y'all looking right at the fender. I'm sorry, guys. We need a front to back mark that'll clear the PCM. Okay, don't go mark. Let's leave it right there and we'll come down back down. Yeah. Alright. We'll come down and mark this.
You want to see how it looks on the spring purchase and all that?
Yeah, we're still gonna lower it. I just wanna come down here and take a look at this and see what you think. So this ought to give us enough room for the PCM plug. We might even move it back some. And then do we just like notch it like this?
Straight across. Because this floor is going to be tucked.
And we could come up further. If we cut this out, well, I don't know, there's so many compound things in here. We just need to mark this. You think this line here, this horizontal, needs to move away from the firewall to give us, because we're going to have a big bulkhead fitting here, and that PCM plug is going to need a little wiggle room. So I'm thinking we need to go back a little further. Yeah, I don't even know if we need to get, like, we could actually cut across right here, huh? And just, now is this going to need to be done? Are we doing this for the new floor or what? Like, or do we just do it here? Because we could put find our little bracket and see if we can line that up, and then we just have a little bit of trimming to do right in here to facilitate this bracket right here, and then we'll just notch out this top piece for the plugs, and that's a wrap. All right, let me go find that bracket. We're gonna roll the cab up under here and see what the fenders are gonna hit on that. Alright, sir, I'm going to come up and you can pull your lock. Alright, watch your radiator. Alright, going up. I'm going to bring y'all in a little closer. So we made our marks, and there's a indent right here and a little shelf. We're basically going to cut that shelf off on both sides, and we got to notch something for the PCM on that side. So we're going to take them off and start chopping them up. And I don't even think we're going to show y'all. I may set up some time lapse on the cutting, but I don't want to pester y'all too much with that. But we'll yeah, I guess we'll set that up on time lapse.
right, folks. If I'm being honest, I'm not sure where I left y'all last, but I'm gonna take a gander around before it gets any deeper. We got our fuse box mounted, got our IDM mounted to that, some kind of bracketry. We got our under the hood harness kind of splayed out here, as well as our under the dash harness. So as you can see, that's our pass-throughs. And then for my next trick, I'm working on the PCM bracket, how that's gonna stay in place. On the factory setup, I think it bolts to the sidewall here. Obviously that's not an option, so we may come off the top, but you'll have to wait and see.
Alright guys, we got Mr. T in here working on the hump again. I'll show you when he gets done tacking, but we basically got the accelerator pedal bracket and the metal that we cut off of the hump from the 96, and we took the metal from the 96 and accelerator pedal, mounted it, and now we're mounting it to the hump and tacking it in and kind of just going little by little. What you need, bud?
A wire wheel.
There you go. So I mean, it's just a little work in progress. We basically just took the cutting out of the 96 that had the bolt nuts in it, and we saved it, and we're just fabbing that piece in. We still got an opening at the back of the head, and we still got some pedals to keep moving around, but baby steps. We're all trying to get about tired of fighting with this sheet metal. So he's got this thing working it down, and we got this little V at the bottom. Point to the V, please, sir. Down the V right there. Right there, there you go. We're working our way to close that gap in, and then we're going to cut us a concave piece. We're probably going to have to cut this accelerator pedal bracket and redo it in the zigzag, but anyway, we're just going one piece at a time. So we're going to probably try and finish going from here to the floor, and then maybe from here to the firewall up in here, and then finally this is where the steering shaft is coming through. That'll probably be our last piece, and because we got to mock the steering back up. But that gives us our accelerator pedal, and like I said, it's way over here, but we're probably going to chop it and move it over and get the pedal in this pocket right here, and the steering shaft is going to go right over the brake. So anyway, it's hard to get the camera in here, but we're just cutting little pieces and sheet metal tacking it, and then bending and sheet metal tacking. So we're going to cut a few more pieces, and we're just salvaging pieces out of these old door skins that we had in the boneyard. Some of these old doors, this one was hit by a tree, so we're just cutting squares out and using this gauge metal to fill the hole. So, and then once we get all of this hump done, we'll pull it out, grind everything smooth, and get it ready for paint. All right, let me get a couple of more pieces on and we'll come back to you. Alright guys, we are back on the final stages of the hump. We got most of the other side filled in. I'll show you in a second. Tristan's redoing the top. We didn't like the fitting. He's using our CAD program, our cardboard aided design, and we're going to get it in there and transfer it and see if we can cut a piece of steel to make that happen. You want some blue tape to tape it in place, or you're not there yet?
Yeah, you can.
Alright, let me get the blue tape, guys, and I'll show you the other side. Alright, get on the other side here and kind of show y'all our Frankenstein. We still got to grind all of these down. Some of this stuff didn't MIG weld worth a damn, but we were able to save this piece off the old hump, which has the mounting bolts for the accelerator pedal, and we had to make a depression for the accelerator pedal to go in, and then drop this down right here, and this is going to be where the steering knuckle comes through, and we're going to cap off where the old steering knuckle came through on the 96. And of course we got harnesses going through here, and we got to put a little flange right here where we can put some riv nuts. And what Tristan's doing up in there is trying, we got a little, maybe a knuckle deep finger gap in there that we're trying to get a better seal just for noise and air coming out of the engine bay. We don't want to asphyxiate ourselves in here. So we're just trying to get as good a fit as we can, and then we'll weather strip it with something. And while we got once we get all of this fabricating crap done, we'll end up taking the hump out and you know, grind up all of the welds and dress them up. Like I said, this stuff, some of it welded pretty good, some of it was kind of funky, but anyhow. Alright guys, we're doing a plan change. Tristan's over here cutting out a section. Evidently, when we were marking this up, the truck might not have been sitting all the way down on the new red bushings, because when this is coming down, we were trying to get the cab down on here and we're hitting the valve cover right here. So I think what happened, I think we might have had the cab low as we could, but sitting on the stops that are internal on the, we put it on the stops on the lift so that mechanically it's being held and not hydraulically. It takes the load off the hydraulics, but it wasn't sitting. It needs to come down about 3 more inches, which is going to put this into the valve cover here, and this is in an up angle. So the further we go down, the more that's wanting to dig into the valve cover, and it's pushing the cab back, which is messing up the alignment for the radiator and everything. The cab needs to stay where it is. So hated to do it, but we're just going to cut this section out and be back to another hole in the floor. And
alrighty folks, welcome back to another episode on Bayou Diesel. Today I'm working on finalizing this gap in the cab. As you can hear, we got a lot of echo still in here, but that's to come. Basically cutting out shapes and starting it from cardboard. We call that cardboard aided design, and transfer this shape to this, and I'm gonna go ahead and bend this crease into it, and then we'll make a second piece to rib nut to our tunnel, and hopefully get our gas pedal mounted there. Check it off the box. Screwed down.
alright guys, we're gonna watch some professional work here in hand.
Oh yeah. Watch and learn.
We've gone from heating and a beating to crying and cussing.
Whatever this is. It's working somewhat. I'm just trying to wrap this around. I know I got this section I can rib nut, and I'm gonna have to add a piece of metal behind here. Just trying to fill in the holes here.
Is it moving in it?
Yeah, it's kind of. Might have to kind of tap on it.
Hold your ears, people. That's what y'all been missing for all of this.
Yeah.
There's been a whole lot of whee, bang, 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 whee, explicit language, bang, bang, bang. Most of the explicit language has been mine.
What you think?
How does that little triangle corner feel? Like, is that gonna cover up good?
Well, I'm gonna weld a piece off of this, and it'll start
going under
from this angle up here, yeah, and it'll be welded to the truck and connect this piece up here. Cause I have nothing to rib nut really right here yet, but like I said, I'm gonna add another piece, as well as probably in this corner we got a little piece we can grab.
We're getting there, folks. Just got to be patient. You gotta ration your cuss words so you don't run out on the first day.
Yeah.
I don't know what the proper rating of explicit language is per hour, but it's pretty high on there. But it's coming around, so that's where we at with this. I see him pulling out the noise maker, so we'll bring y'all back in a minute. I know y'all don't want to listen to all this beating. Alright guys, so this is about where we at. We got a little, we're gonna do a backer behind here. There's nothing behind here to riv nut, so we got to do a little piece. We're gonna try and fill this triangle in with that, and this is gonna bend over. We got a little more trim in there, so that's pretty much about where we were. We did a few little cuts and bends, but that's getting close to where this hump is gonna be. We just gotta kind of tie it into the floor and finish weld some stuff. We're gonna texture I don't know, bed liner or undercoat or something on the floor in here. We'll put some rust kill down. We got, of course, we got a couple other little repairs, and then but first things first, we're trying to get her drivable, and so that's where we are with the hump. I'm gonna be getting in here and finishing some stuff between here and here on the give this structure of the pedals a little more rigidity. I'll show you all that later. And of course, I know this is driving me crazy, so it's probably driving y'all crazy. You know, we got this bend. I'm gonna cut these and lower them, and I'm gonna use the old school pads for them. So that's why we hadn't addressed any of that yet, but we're getting there. We got nut zerks in most of the way around, maybe 3/4 of the way around. Nut zerks. Damn it, riv nuts. We got riv nuts going all the way down, about 3/4 of the way. So little more massage in here, and another little backbone strip to put some riv nuts to, and that's gonna be a wrap on that. And we got some holes to fill. Of course, this is gonna be the shift knob hole. This is gonna get filled, and that is gonna probably, I'm gonna try and merge that in old school part brake. We'll see how it comes out. All right, well, that's it for now. Y'all hit us up, let us know what you're working on. If you got any questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Other than that, that's gonna be it for today. So we'll see y'all on the next one.